Hi everyone, welcome to Valet, where we talk about all things acting. My name is Brianna, and today I thought we'd talk about memorizing a script. So I thought we'd jump straight into the topic and start with what we know. To be honest, learning a script can sometimes feel impossible. Whether it be remembering cues, identifying emotion, or simply performing in a believable way while reciting your lines. Scripts are debatably one of the hardest things for a new and veteran actor to learn. Now, although it's true that learning a script can be hard, one of the most important things you should look at when figuring out how to go about learning a script is what are you trying to convey. What a script basically is a course of action and dialogue for the actors to convey the story they're trying to tell. Now, this is obvious, but it's something that must be verbalized because a lot of the time we let the script determine the way that we act. Now, what I mean by this is a lot of the times when we practice by ourselves, by running the lines, then we convey the emotion that we think matches the script through our practice. And so we condition ourselves to remember the words as the way we practiced it. So for example, if I was doing a sad scene, then I may practice it in a sad way. Therefore, when it's time to film, I'm acting in that same way that I practiced. Now you may be wondering what's wrong with this, and to that I have to remind you of two things. The first thing is that acting is listening. So when you're acting, if you are not listening to your scene partner, then you won't know how to react honestly to them. They are delivering their lines and their truth through the script with their real emotion, and it's your job to do the same. The second thing is sometimes the way you practice it isn't the way that the director wants it to be filmed. A lot of the times we portray a script to be angry and aggressive, and so we condition ourselves to remember the lines in an angry and aggressive way. Now when it's time to perform, if the director says to actually try it in a sad way, then it just completely throws you off. Now you don't remember the words the way that they should be, or you're not listening to your scene partner because you're too busy trying to sound right. Remember, acting is reacting, so in order to give authentic results, you need to make sure that you focus more on learning the words and not the emotion behind the words. Allow that to come naturally later. Now, there are plenty of ways to memorize, whether it be through flashcards or repetition, but for today, I'm going to give you 5 ways to truly memorize your lines visually and mentally. Starting off, we have highlighting. Now, highlighting is one of the most visually efficient ways of remembering almost anything. When you highlight, you are calling attention to a specific amount of words that you need to remember. That way, if you ever need to reference something, it's right there and it's clear as to what is what. Some may be bigger, some may be smaller, but either way, you recognize what is yours and what isn't. An example of an efficient way to highlight a script for yourself would be to highlight maybe in yellow or something bright your actual lines that you'll need to recite. That way it's clear and it's clean cut coming straight towards you. You're going to pay more attention to something that's in yellow. Now on a script, you also have certain actions. This isn't something that you say verbally, but it's something that you may do with your body. You can highlight those in something like pink or green, slightly more subtle, but still is going to call your attention and not fall into the background. Next, we have annotations. Now, annotations are helpful for the unspoken of the script. It is something that you can use to give background on certain situations, so that way you can have more grounds to act in a certain way. It also helps if you want to add little adjustments to the movements that you make during the scene to give truth and to convey true emotion. Something I think annotations are really helpful for on a script is also to add little questions. So if a character is acting a certain way towards you, then you can write in your annotations, why is she or he behaving this way towards me? That way, when you add it there, then you can act it through your emotion. So you'll be more comfortable with acting confused or worried. Okay, now next is very important because a lot of us tend to forget about this little tidbit about acting. A big mistake we actors make is we don't read the entire script. When you get your role, don't just skip over to your lines. Read the entire script as many times as you need to. Really memorize it the way that you would a special book that you love. Understand each of the characters, including yourself, so that way you'll have more grounds and more comfort in behaving the way you feel is necessary in moments with certain characters. One mistake that I recognize can happen if you don't read the entire script and only your lines is you understand your character perfectly, and so you may have everything that you need to really perform to the best of your ability as your character. But when you don't understand the other characters, or don't at least skim through them, then you're oblivious to the way that they react and act towards you. This dims the light of your character and the light of the other. It makes it seem like you're living on completely different planets. Really try to get to know the other characters that are surrounding your own. Another mistake with reading the entire script that I see in my acting class, and that I have even done a couple times, is when we are learning our character, and so we know what to say, we know how we want to behave, and even though we didn't read the whole script, we read the character's lines above us, so that way we know when we should start talking. And this sure is efficient if you want to know when your cue is to start speaking, but it isn't very helpful to the scene because now you're not reacting to the moment around you, but instead you're too busy focused in and listening to when it's your time to talk. Next, try to remember that practice makes perfect. Now we have reading the entire script over, annotating, and highlighting. But what's also important is that we read over and over again. Practice really does make perfect. Ways we can practice is by reading over with your co-stars or castmates. If you have them, then utilize them. Really ask them or get to know them, figure out if they would like to run lines with you. Anything like that can really get you familiar with the process, the way that it's going to be read and spoken. You'll also have table reads and stuff, but being able to do it on your own is something that's very special as well. Now, if you don't have castmates or co-stars, that's understandable. If you have something like a commercial or maybe just a quick little saying that you say or narration, something simple that you can practice is repetition. Just repeat over and over again what you need to say. Now, repetition is something that I think is really quick and easy to memorize lines. We've been doing it since grade school, whether it be with learning or multiplication, or even now, I'm in high school, I have to use repetition to remember my speeches or my presentations that I may need to do in front of the class. So repetition, it just really gets you into the swing of things. Reciting the words like a mantra is so simple and so easy, and it engraves in your mind, so at any point you could just break out and just start saying it, Now, last but not least, we have what isn't spoken. Outside of words, there's something much deeper happening between you and your character and between receiving the script and filming, and that is understanding their psyche. Something that's important is that you're able to get to know your character's personality so you can channel the life behind the lines. Now, this process is called active experiencing, and it can vary between what method you use, yes, but it is essential all the same. The more you understand your character's psyche, the more likely what comes from the script will come naturally expressed through emotion. Active experiencing is also helpful because you are less likely to break character. If you forget a line or if you get lost in your train of thought, then active experiencing will keep you grounded in your character because it becomes secondhand nature. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to leave suggestions in the comments for any new videos that you would like. Please also don't forget to introduce yourself to your character so that way you can perform to the best of your ability. Bye!